Welcome back to the Island of Misfit Toy Collectors. It's me, Dreadnought Ryan, and today we're going to talk about G.I. Joe Classified sub-teams. And we'll start this conversation with sub-teams that we will already have seen out, whether it's Tiger Force or Slaughter's Marauders, and then also kind of discuss what other possible sub-teams we could see or possibly have already saw in some of the renders. And then, of course, just talk about maybe some of the wish lists that we have. Now, in this video, we will go through the sub-teams that I've identified here. Just to kind of give everybody an FYI, I did not include Star Brigade or the Mega Marines. And the reason for that was really quite simple is I'm not sure if we'd be seeing some of those figures in the line just because of construction of some of them, as well as just they were at that end run of 1994. And I just don't know if there's a big demand for them possibly. But I think we can look at some of the sub-teams that we have for here, the Joes. In another video, I will cover sub-teams for Cobra. But let's see what I think we have coming out, and I would definitely love to get your guys' opinion as well, too. So first off, let's talk Tiger Force. So we know that this is a Target exclusive for folks in the U.S. For Canada, it's Toys R Us. And then I know for our friends all throughout the world, it's been a struggle to find some of these figures. But currently in the Tiger Force lineup, we have Bazooka, Recondo, Outback, and now Duke. We still have outstanding Dusty, Flint, Roadblock, Tripwire, and Lifeline. Now, we know we've heard different rumors of possibly Tripwire joining the Joe line for Classified, so I can really see that this group gets filled out. I would also hope that we might see some of the European Tiger Force figures fill in this line as well, too. We do have Dusty already, Flint, and Roadblock, so those are just simple repaints. So I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see them either be announced sometime this year or possibly into 2024. But it looks like Tiger Force will be sticking around for the folks in the state through Target, which it seems that distribution has gotten better where you're able to get these figures as well as seeing them in the store. For the Slaughter's Marauders, and yes, I know they're called the Mad Marauders. They'll always be Slaughter's Marauders to me. We've already seen that Barbecue will be the first figure for the Mad Marauders, but we also know that Sergeant Slaughter has been brought back into service for G.I. Joe, so it's just a matter of time before we see another figure for him. I do hope we get the Renegades, though, to be part of Slaughter's Marauders or the Mad Marauders. Seeing those three from the 1987 G.I. Joe movie is a must for me. I think they're just great characters. Red Dog, Taurus, and of course Mercer, all were fan favorites for us kids growing up and watching that movie when we were coming home from school. Lowlight, Mutt and Junkyard, Footloose, and of course Barbecue and Spirit are all part of the Mad Marauders. Lowlight, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that figure being announced sometime soon. Mutt and Junkyard, we really need a Mutt and Junkyard. Footloose as well. But Spirit, we already know is out. And again, Sarge, we know is already out as well. So I can see that these figures will be brought into not only the main line, but also the Mad Marauders. What's different about this particular sub-team is what we've heard in the past from Hasbro is that the sub-teams were going to be the store exclusives. But for this particular group, I believe it will just be fan channel exclusives. So that might be a slight change, or it might be a main line where you can pick these up anywhere. Lieutenant Falcon was also included in the 30th anniversary run for the Slaughter's Marauders, so I could see that figure being added as well. Night Force. So this is my first big kind of stretch. So I know that we have seen the renders for Big Ben. And looking at the original Big Ben and his color schemes, I did notice that it's a little bit darker with the grays and the greens and the blacks that you saw in the render, which made me think, could we be getting some Night Force figures? We already have Outback, and what a way to get the third repaint of that particular figure. Lieutenant Falcon. It'd be awesome to get Repeater, Shockwave, Tunnel Rat, which we know is coming as well, Psych Out, which would fit into Tiger Force, as well as Muskrat, Spearhead, Charbroil, and the other folks who make up Night Force. I don't know if we'll see Sneak Peek added, just because that was, I believe, based off of actually Stephen King's son. But I think with Night Force that you could definitely sub in some other Joes, just by simply using repaint and adding some of the darker, more muted colors. Night Force, when I was growing up, was a Toys R Us exclusive, so I didn't find these figures until I was actually over at a friend's house, and he showed me the Falcon, and I had fallen in love with them. I think they're an amazing line. Also, what they did with the vehicles, I thought was very cool as well. So hopefully we get to see Night Force expanded into the classified line. Ninja Force, and here's my second one. So I think we will see Ninja Force in some capacity. I don't know if we will get the wacky colors that we've seen in the past, or even just some of the crazy designs that we have seen. But yes, I know Kamakura was from the Devil's Due, but in the run for Larry Hama through IDW, Kamakura, or the new Snake Eyes, has spent most of his time with the ninja portion of the G.I. Joe team. We also had Storm Shadow, the first Storm Shadow, which was an Amazon exclusive, which does match up to the Ninja Force Storm Shadow. I hope to see some of the other figures at least be announced, and then we would know if we're for sure we're going to get Ninja Force. But again, I think we may just see some, like I said, maybe some just picks that will get added, but I don't know if we'll get the full Ninja Force run. I can also live without any of the action gimmicks. But I know for some folks, they're not fans of Ninja Force. They might not be fans of Tiger Force. But the funny thing about the Joe community as a whole, and as I've gotten to talk to many of you, it's just understanding how some of these sub teams or just particular characters meant so much to you as children growing up. And that's helped me gain more appreciation of some of these figures that I may have discounted in the past, but seeing the love that people have for them now and how they share their stories of, this was my first Joe, or, this is the first Joe that my grandpa bought for me. And, it meant a lot. So please keep those comments coming. Keep sharing why you love this particular brand. We as a community are what makes G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe. So yeah, I'm gaining more of a love for all these different sub teams just through how you guys share what you appreciate about them. So this brings me up to the wish list. Really quick, DEF. I know that some folks aren't a fan of this particular sub team, but I just was. It's just fun. I think the Headman and the Headhunters, it's one of those things in the 80s of Nancy Reagan saying, just say no. That makes me just appreciate some of these. Mutton Junkyard, we'll get Shockwave again. Cutter, just some of the different Joes, and of course the Cobra sub-team that was included with them. It's just another fun little sub-team repaints of figures that are already out there, so I hope we do get to see them. Eco Warriors, a sub-team and a line that I did not appreciate growing up, but I have to admit, seeing all of the cool play sets, all of the cool features, and of course, just the characters that came with this particular line has made me appreciate it more. And then hearing some of you tell stories of why you love EcoForce has also helped me understand why so many people do like this. Sky Patrol. This is one that I think would be awesome if we could get, if it came with those parachutes. Either a cloth version of them or something that's just a little bit better constructed that can hold up. Um, with Sky Patrol, though, I don't know if we will ever really see these figures. This is one of those wish list items for me. I've always been a fan of parachutes and paratroopers from being a kid to an adult. And I just think it would be cool if we could see some of these figures in that line. And then, of course, Battle Force 2000. Unfortunately, I know Larry did kill off all but one, but I know there's a lot of folks who do love this particular sub team. And yes, I know the vehicles and how they constructed together didn't live up to what the expectations were. But again, just hearing some folks who fell in love with this particular line because of their unique styles, the unique characters, I hope that for those particular Joe fans, we do get to see these. So again, let me just say thank you to everyone who's recently subscribed to the channel, and of course, all of you who've been subscribed to my channel. Again, I know I say it every time, but I'm just truly humbled by all of the kind things, all of the stories that you're sharing, and just the positive feedback that you guys have been giving me. It truly does show that our community is what makes G.I. Joe G.I. Joe. So thanks again. Please let me know what sub teams that you think you would love to see. Maybe sub teams that you would like to see some changes made to. Again, I know that Ninja Force isn't always a favorite for folks, but you know, as a kid who grew up in the 80s, ninjas are cool. And let me know what you think about Sky Patrol or DEF, or for all of those Battle Force 2000 lovers out there. Let's hear your positive spin of why we need some BF2K. But again, thank you everyone. Your comments, your fact you subscribe to the channel just means so much to me. You guys all rock, and I hope you have a great day, night, or morning, depending on where you're at on the island. And more importantly, Yo Joe.